Her name is still whispered when elegance is mentioned, her image an unchanging symbol of sophistication. But did you know that behind Audrey Hepburn's charming smile lay a story forged in the flames of war, a tale of shattered dreams and an unbreakable spirit that ultimately changed the world? From a modest childhood in occupied Europe to an unparalleled Hollywood icon and a devoted goodwill ambassador, Audrey's life was as dramatic and inspiring as her best roles. Prepare to immerse yourself in a journey through decades to uncover the true essence of a woman who captivated millions of hearts. Audrey Kathleen Rustin, born on May 4, 1929, in Ixelles, Belgium, had quite an unusual and, at the same time, complex background. Her father, Joseph Victor Anthony Rustin, was a British banker, and her mother, Ella van Heemstra, was a Dutch baroness with ancestors among French counts and even British royalty. Such aristocratic roots, it would seem, promised a carefree and untroubled childhood, but the reality turned out to be different. When Audrey was only 6 years old, her parents divorced, which was a deep trauma for her. Her father, whom she adored, simply left the family. This event left the girl with a feeling of abandonment, which, according to many, influenced her subsequent search for love and stability. The future star's childhood was spent in constant moves between Brussels, London, and Dutch lands. However, the deepest and most painful imprint on her soul was left by life in occupied Arnhem, Netherlands, during World War II. While her mother actively participated in the resistance movement, little Audrey, who studied at the conservatory, faced all the horrors of the Nazi occupation. She experienced hunger, chronic malnutrition, which later led to anemia, asthma, and liver problems, cold, and constant fear. Once, during a bombing, she hid in a basement for several days without food or water. She saw executions and starving people who had nothing to eat. To support herself and her family, Audrey participated in secret ballet performances, raising funds for the resistance. These difficult years not only shaped her deep compassion for others but also cruelly changed her childhood dreams. The dream of a professional ballet career, which she pursued with all her passion, unfortunately became unattainable due to physical exhaustion. Her body, weakened by the war, simply could not withstand the demands required for high-level ballet. After the war, in 1948, Audrey moved to London, where she continued her ballet studies, but with the understanding that the big stage was probably closed to her. She began looking for other ways to make a living, and thus entered the world of fashion and cinema. She worked as a model, starred in educational films, and got small roles in West End musicals such as High Button Shoes and Sauce Picante. Her natural grace and unique appearance began to attract attention, although there was no talk of real success yet. The turning point came in 1951, when while filming Monte Carlo Baby in Monte Carlo, she was noticed by the legendary French writer Colette. Impressed by Audrey's grace and manners, Colette immediately realized that she was the perfect fit for the lead role in her Broadway play Gigi. It was a risky step, as Audrey had little experience in dramatic theater, and spoke English with a strong accent. However, Colette was persistent, and her intuition did not fail her. Audrey's performance in Gigi was a triumph, bringing her widespread recognition and her first significant award, the Theatre World Award. Critics were delighted with her freshness and talent. The true star hour that opened the doors to the world of big cinema for Audrey Hepburn and turned her into a global celebrity was her role as Princess Anne in the film Roman Holiday, 1953. Initially, Paramount Pictures planned Elizabeth Taylor for the lead role, but director William Wyler insisted on Audrey after her impressive auditions. Her co-star in the film was the charismatic Gregory Peck, who, seeing her talent, insisted that her name be placed alongside his in the credits, anticipating her future success. This was unprecedented for a little-known actress. The film became an absolute hit, and Audrey's performance was a true revelation. Her sincerity, naturalness, touching vulnerability, and at the same time inner strength captivated audiences. For this work, Audrey received an Academy Award for Best Actress, as well as a Golden Globe and a BAFTA. She burst onto the Hollywood Olympus not as a typical femme fatale or glamorous blonde of the time, but as a completely new type of movie star, fragile, elegant, with large eyes that radiated both childlike innocence and deep wisdom. She brought a fresh breath to Hollywood that differed from the voluptuous figures and bright makeup of Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, Audrey Hepburn starred in a series of iconic films that not only solidified her status as a global star but also made her a style icon, whose influence on fashion is still felt today. In the film Sabrina, 1954, her legendary collaboration with designer Hubert de Givenchy began. Givenchy, seeking to embody her unique image, created costumes for her that became no less iconic than the film itself. Their friendship and professional collaboration lasted throughout her life. Givenchy created not only her film costumes but also a significant part of her personal wardrobe. Her dramatic talent shone in films such as The Nun's Story, 1959, where Audrey played the role of a nun struggling with her calling, and Two for the Road, 1967, which explored the complexities of married life. These roles demonstrated her ability for deep, psychological transformations. But perhaps her most famous image, forever etched in the history of cinema and fashion, was Holly Golightly from Breakfast at Tiffany's, 1961. Her look, a little black dress by Givenchy, a pearl necklace, long gloves, and large sunglasses, became a symbol of elegance and femininity. This film not only solidified her status as a style icon but also demonstrated her lightness and comedic talent. It's also worth noting her work in the thrilling Charade, 1963, where she starred opposite Cary Grant, and the unforgettable musical My Fair Lady, 1964, where Audrey wonderfully embodied the role of Eliza Doolittle. Despite controversies regarding her non-singing voice, the songs were dubbed, her acting was impeccable. Her elegance, sophistication, natural beauty, and unique charm made her a true trendsetter, whose influence on fashion is still felt today. She didn't try to be overtly sexy, she was simply charming. In her personal life, Audrey Hepburn sought the stability and love she lacked in childhood. She was married twice. Her first husband was actor Mel Ferrer, 1954 to 1968, with whom she had a son, Sean. Her second was Italian psychiatrist Andrea Ditti, 1969 to 1982, with whom she had a son, Luca. She always valued privacy and sought to focus on her family, gradually reducing her film career from the late 1960s. She understood that the fame and glamour of Hollywood were just the outward facade, and for her, it was more important to be a good mother and wife. It was then that she began to move away from the dazzling spotlights to dedicate herself to what was truly important to her, humanitarian work. Her childhood memories of hunger and war were so strong that she felt a deep need to help those suffering. In 1988, Audrey Hepburn became a UNICEF Goodwill ambassador, dedicating the last years of her life to selfless service. She didn't just support the organization from afar, she actively traveled around the world, visiting the most remote and dangerous corners of the earth: Somalia, Ethiopia, Sudan, Vietnam, Bangladesh. She spoke with starving children, learned about their needs firsthand, using her worldwide popularity to draw attention to humanitarian crises. She testified before the U.S. Congress and gave press conferences, telling the world about millions of children suffering from disease, hunger, and lack of education. This work was a deeply personal mission for her, not just a celebrity job. For her tireless efforts in humanitarian work, she was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1992, the highest civilian honor in the United States. Audrey Hepburn passed away on January 20, 1993, from a rare form of cancer in Tolkien, Switzerland, at the age of 63. Her death was a loss for the entire world. She left behind not only an unparalleled cinematic legacy and the image of an enduring style icon, but also the memory of a devoted humanitarian whose kindness and compassion continue to inspire millions of people around the world. Her life became proof that true beauty lies not only in outward appearance but also in the depth of one's heart and the desire to make the world a better place. Her example will forever remain a beacon of hope and inspiration.